Hey, cheers everybody. So, just wanted to make a quick little video about some Magic the Gathering ideas I had on my mind and some concepts of investing. A little intro to what I've set up here. I got some of the stuff I believe in, you know, Modern Horizons 3 gift bundles, Fallout collector boxes. I got some display commander decks and some random set and draft boxes, some OTJ. But I want to talk about, you know, a little bit of the investment side of Magic the Gathering and what I like about it and what got me interested in it. So let's talk about these, like, you know, larger concepts of investing. My background is a mortgage background. And a quick comparison, you know, I used to be into Pokemon. I used to play Magic like back in high school. Then I took a big, super long break. Never really played any physical trading card games, just online stuff. And I was looking back at some Pokemon boxes, and I was like, man, those have really appreciated, right? The sealed boxes. And you know, maybe in a later video I'll talk about some of the like analogies of the individual cards, like how individual cards are sort of like individual stocks, and maybe we can talk about 401ks, IRAs, things like that. But then we can do that in a different video. For now, let's just talk about some of the activity of sealed Pokemon stuff and sort of some correlations in Magic. So back in like 2012, there's a couple Pokemon boxes, not just like one. There's, you know, Next Destinies, Dark Explorers, Dragons Exalted, all this stuff from 2012. These boxes at the time, you could buy them sealed for like 90 to 100 bucks, like your retail price, right? Or maybe you get them from a distributor or a friend who owns a store. Today, those boxes are $3,000, $5,900, and $3,500 respectively, right, in that order. So, and it's not just like those are some kind of specialty boxes. Those are just random, normal release, run-of-the-mill boxes, right? Dragons Exalted, $3,500, Plasma Storm, Plasma Blast in 2013, $8,000 and $3,200 per sealed box. Legendary Treasures today, $3,800, right? Flash Fire, $3,000 as a box, released in 2014. So if we think about like that success of the sealed Pokemon, and we've seen stuff like that happen in Magic, but we haven't really seen it so much recently just because we've been through such a horrible market and a horrible economy and really bad decisions by but it looks like the ship has turned around, right? Like if we're talking about just the just betting, like betting on whether or not it's going to be successful or not successful. You know, Magic has been around for like 30 years, right? So to bet that this stuff is going to become worthless, right, is going against 30 years of success, right? And I'll put success in quotation marks because, you know, sometimes the stock market graph just looks like a, but it's still around. And if somehow Hasbro had like a major crisis or event, we the players would still be collecting the cards and playing them. Maybe the IP would just be bought by someone else, right? There's so much opportunity from a corporate perspective to continue selling Magic the Gathering. So what are some of the theories here about why I believe that there's an opportunity right now for Magic the Gathering? Well, one is that, you know, corporations are built on quarterly returns, short-term investments, millions of dollars of inventory, cash flow, EBITDA, things like that. And I can do like a deeper analysis later, but the main concept is that they're short-term focused, right? And they're looking, because they're a business, they're not looking to hold on to stuff for millions of years for it to appreciate and then sell it. They're looking to sell stuff, you know, as the release goes, print it and sell it, print it and sell it. They want to keep their margins high because I'd assume it doesn't cost them that much to make the cardboard and the packaging, and they sell it for pretty nice premium to distributors. And of course, that's what makes them profitable, right? So since they're so focused on the short term, there's an opportunity for us in the long term, right? Any investment that you do, as long as you can outweight the competition, you will have time on your side, time as an ally, And when crashes occur and people are over leveraged and they're forced to sell because maybe they're missing their car payment or their mortgage payment, or a company has to pay the rent, they're going to be forced to sell. But as long as you strategically place yourself in the position where you don't have to sell, and you've calculated how much you need to just wait out the crashed market, if you can wait it out to the other side, you're going to be one of the few people who has not opened the box and tried to sell off the cards for profit, right? And you'll be able to hold on to that investment when the market recovers. You'll still retain the sealed product. So there's an opportunity in the long term, right? As long as we use time to our advantage. And also, there are going to be more people in the market in the future, right? Whether that's because of the Universes Beyond collaborations, bringing other people into Magic, or just the fact that, like in the United States, the divide between the super rich, right, the haves and have-nots gets larger and larger, right? And Magic is something that's sort of unique in that it like gathers those people, and I don't mean to do that, but it really does gather people from all different income classes, right? Because the super rich, maybe they'll have so much money that they have excess cash and they'll put it towards these investments. And people who don't have that much money, well, they might have government benefits, food stamps, things like that, where they have a little bit of extra cash lying around and they're attracted to buying these things because they're not taxed, and they can flip them and sell them for cash that is not taxed, right? So they don't have to report it and they can retain their benefits. So there's it actually attracts both players on the field, which is sort of interesting. And if we believe that gap continues how it's been for the last 10 years, where the middle class is, the hardworking middle class that struggles paying all the bills, well, sometimes they don't have the money to invest in Magic, but sometimes the other classes do, right? So why do I believe in Magic? Well, if we look at Magic from the corporate perspective of what Hasbro has been doing, the print runs have been shorter, right? We see that. You can just look based on the graph of a lot of the collector boxes. Stuff sells out, stuff's harder to find 6 months after release. Lord of the Rings completely sold out, Fallout completely sold out, right? There's a lot of these more recent sets that have done really well and they sell out of the stores pretty quickly. And also, me with my mortgage company and my mortgage background, I track interest rates all the time, right? So right now, housing interest rates like 5 to 6%. 2 years ago, it was like 2%, right? But they've stabilized at 5 to 6. The Federal Reserve has said, we're keeping the interest rates at 5 to 6%. So what does that mean? That means that the economy and people are spending more and more and more because the interest rates have been stabilized. If the interest rates go up, people will save more and they'll stop spending. If interest rates go down, they're going to spend even more, right? Because what's the point of saving money if you're only going to make like 2% interest, right? So you spend. So in a 1 to 2 year time frame, it's looking pretty successful. But more importantly, if we look 8 months ago, what was Hasbro stock like? $43, $45, right? An all-time low. High print runs, bunch of stuff stacked up in the Amazon warehouse. They couldn't move it. Players didn't really have a belief. No one was pre-ordering anything because it's going to be on Amazon. It's going to be I'll be able to get in my LGS anytime. Well, if you've been following the Secret Lair Monty Python and some of them Fallout and Lord of the Rings, that's not the case anymore, right? Sometimes you really got to do pre-order. You really have to pre-order this stuff. And so what has that resulted in? Today, Hasbro stock is like 62, 64, whatever it's at right now, somewhere in that range. That's like a 40% increase, right? A company has become 40% more valuable in the decisions that they've made to do better crossovers, to shorten the print run, to make, and might be controversial, but power creep the cards, make stronger cards. Players have responded by spending. And so, how many more players will there be when Final Fantasy comes out at the end of this year, right? What about when Marvel comes out and you got new players entering and, what if another event like Post Malone buying the One Ring happens and it brings even more people in, right? So Magic and Wizards has these ideas, and I think they're aiming towards that because it's shown them success in the past. And so my question to everyone is like, if a Pokemon box, you know, going back to my original statement, if a Pokemon box can go from $90 to, you know, $4,000 in 10 years, right? What's a Fallout collector box gonna be, right? Like a crossover from a game that, you know, Fallout 4, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, right? Maybe not 76, but the other ones, right? Like, players love this game. They love the role-playing aspect of it. A box set releases at $300. Today is $500, or maybe it released at like, you could pre-order like $205, right? Let's say $205. So right now it's $500, right? And that's like less than a year. What's that gonna be in 8 years if you buy one or two and you hold it? And even if there's a crash and people have to sell off, and you still hold it, and you hold it and you hold it and you keep it sealed, and you're able to make it to the other side 8 years from now, what's a Fallout Magic the Gathering crossover box going to be? What's a Lord of the Rings, the best-selling set ever, Lord of the Rings Special Collector Edition, or just the standard one, that went from $280 to today is like $599, $600 on TCGplayer in less than a year? If that price doubles in less than a year, what are we looking at 8 years from now, right?